Monday, everybody. Welcome in to the Cryptid Huntress live. It's Jessica Jones. I'm the Cryptid Huntress. And man, I just had some major audio visual fails right before the show. So, yeah, I'm going to get to hold this little tiny microphone in front of my mouth this entire show, probably. Yeah, y'all enjoy it. Y'all enjoy the show today. I don't know. The show must go on, though, right? And I hope you guys can hear me. Uh, this is going to be a fantastic show today. Gosh, we've got some current events going on, some really interesting things that have been in the news, things that have been making the rounds on TikTok. My favorite trusted news source. Just kidding. It's not my favorite trusted news source. It is fun to watch though, and it's really interesting because people are posting some crazy videos on there, including one that we're going to be talking about today. It's those weird pill crawlers. Okay, there's some pale crawlers. I'm going to show some still shots of that today. The video is posted on my Instagram. Okay, it's on my Instagram. If you guys follow me on Instagram, it's the Cryptid Huntress on Instagram. And I've also got the Cryptid Huntress underscore live. That's my other one. Y'all can go, the videos on both of those Instagram pages. You can find it all over the place, though. Just look up pale crawlers and men stuck in a truck or something like that. But this is a video. I have watched it over and over and over and over again. And I thought it was fake at first. Now I think it's real. I think it's real. I'm going to get Barry's opinion, y'all. I have Barry Littleton here in the studio today. He is here. We're going to talk about that. And we're also going to be talking about that wild UFO crash. Now, it's alleged there might have been a UFO crash in Washington, D.C. A few days ago that spanned across 4 different states. People claim that they saw a fireball in the sky. Now, I know last week we talked about the Kecksburg UFO, and that was a UFO that, flew through the sky, similar to that. But this is modern day, today, a few days ago, all this happened. So we're going to take a deep dive into that and any kind of other current events that are going on. We're going to talk about it today. So y'all go get your popcorn. We're going to dive down a rabbit hole. I really can't wait to get into these pill crawlers, though. That's the big thing today. So if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows and everything, I've got all of my shows posted on my YouTube, my Rumble, my YouTube, and on the cryptidhuntress.com. So you guys go over to the cryptidhuntress.com and yeah, check everything out there, including the list of events. I am going to be at the Molina Bigfoot Festival. That's coming up on November the 9th. So please come see me out there. If you guys are in Georgia, or even if you're close, well, that's another one. That's the East Alabama Bigfoot Town Hall. That's in January. Come see me at that too. But the the more recent one will be Molina Bigfoot Fest and the Elkins Creek 5K and 1 mile fun run. And so if y'all want to go running with Bigfoot, running from Bigfoot, y'all go to that. That would be fun if they actually had somebody in a Bigfoot outfit chasing people. Now I'd run for sure in that. Okay. But yeah, y'all come see me November the 9th in Molina, Georgia. All right. Also, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my work. Thank you to all my members of that. You guys are the best. And I do have a shop that's called War Woman Goods where I do put Cryptid Huntress merch in every package, especially if you tell me you are one of my viewers. I put a little extra in there for you. Okay. So let's get to our show today. All right. Because I have Barry Littleton here. Barry had a fantastic live last night. You guys need to go to barrylittleton.com and, or not.com, Barry Littleton on YouTube, y'all. I got a little discombobulated with my audio visual issues this morning, obviously. But go to his YouTube channel. He's doing lives now. Yes. Okay. And he had a great one last night. So please go check that out if you missed it. Okay. So on this episode, we're going to be exploring the current events in the news and on TikTok, like I said. And that includes this reported UFO crash in Washington, D.C., a group of what appear to be pell crawlers accosting a group of men after their vehicle got stuck in the mountains, and more. On October 12th, from about 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. around Washington, D.C. and 4 surrounding states, multiple people reported that they saw a giant object on fire across the sky and then a huge sonic boom. On that same night, a man reported dozens of police cars It's not just one man, it's a bunch. And there's actually a video of another man walking through all the policemen, okay, through where, not literally through them, but through where they were parked. Okay. But police cars, Secret Service, and law enforcement were lining the roads and blocking off roads all over DC. All right, now then we're going to talk about the pale crawlers. I think we're going to talk about the pale crawlers first. Around October 6th, a video was posted where men were speaking in Arabic, or an Arabic language, and showing an encounter of what looks like a group of pale crawlers. The video of this encounter is compelling, to say the least. And y'all go to my YouTube and check that out if you haven't seen it yet, or just look it up on TikTok. Okay, so to help me discuss this, to have a fun discussion today, I've got Barry Littleton here. And Barry's a fantastic researcher, good friend of mine, cutting edge researcher, actually. And so please go to his YouTube channel and to his Patreon and subscribe, become a member. Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Barry Littleton.
Yo, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry that you have to go through such difficulty there. So
it's okay. I'm used to it.
But thanks for having me on. This is unexpected. Thanks for coming to my live chat yesterday. That I had no idea until like towards the end that thing had almost went 3 hours. My Lord, man. But hey, that's cool. You know, it's nice interacting with people. A lot of people from your crowd were there, so thank you. I appreciate everybody, and it was cool.
Oh yeah, Barry, you put on a really good, I'm gonna say show, okay, even though it's like just like a lecture, a talk, whatever you want to call it. It's wild. I loved it. Okay, I don't want to say like lecture. It wasn't like we were in class, but like you just put out some really good info.
Okay, oh, hey, thank you. Thank you. And I try to not always repeat myself too much and do things that are just cookie cutter or anything, you know, try to put, so I know a few things, so I try to put all of it in there, and it tend to jump all over the place, you know, try not to do that. And I was getting excited, and I was throwing his pictures around everywhere, and I was, you know.
I love it. Well, you have the receipts. You got the receipts, you know, you got the artwork made for your experiences that you've had. And it really does help, because there are other people who, especially when we have these like visual representations of what happened to you and what you've experienced, your encounters, we can relate to it, because a lot of us have had encounters too. Yeah, we don't remember that well.
So, and you know, and that's you know, that's what's interesting about the whole hypnosis thing, really accessing the superconscious, the higher self, and then, you know, and then the subconscious as well, is you can retrieve those memories. You know, you just have to relax enough and really let yourself take total control, is what that really is, through relaxation. So, you know, yeah, definitely. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And like I said, being there and all the support. So, you know, I've mentioned you a few times, but you're one of those people that's got that energy that I think that my referring to that got you inadvertently attacked. I apologize for that. You know, referring to Artron energy and people I feel that energy off of, that have been either on board a craft or around some type of an extraterrestrial, more than likely one that's a higher level one, you know, and it irradiates your cells. And I feel it on people. I felt it on you. I could feel it on you before we met in person. We were doing that. We were doing that Skype with Christy for the Starseeds adventure. And I mentioned last night, I had no idea that was your first conference. I mean, you didn't act like it. You've been out in the field chasing Bigfoot, so I figured you probably did a bunch of conferences.
No, I know, right? Well, I'd done it for so long, but I had never been public. And I would have never done that. I would have never been public and talked about it, and except for Amanda. Okay, Amanda, my good friend Amanda. What's up, Amanda? I'll send you a link.
She's cool. She's real cool.
Yeah, Amanda. I went to go visit Amanda. She lives in North Carolina, and she came down because she was volunteering at that. And if it hadn't been for Amanda, I would have never gone public. I swear I would not have, because I have to give her full credit because I got down there, or got up there to Helen to go hang out with her and the crew at Disclosure, Camp Disclosure. And I remember talking, we went on a hike through the woods, and it was me and her and Donald and some other people. And Donald happened to have, Don Scoggins. What's up, Donald? Shout out to him too. He was asking me about my research, and he said, you know, I was talking about it. He said, well, that sounds a lot like the Meadow Project. And I was like, well, that's my team. I didn't say that's my team. He said he had gotten that book. And I was like, well, do you remember the girl named Jessica J? in that book. And he was like, oh my God, it kind of clicked. He was like, that's you? I was like, yeah, that's me. And so then Christy asked me to speak at their conference. So shout out to Camp Disclosure and to Christy and everybody. That was a big deal. And shout out to Amanda too.
And it was really nice interacting with people. And, I think you do a really good job at the conferences. You're like me, you take it seriously. And a lot of people are spending a lot of money to go to those things. And they really need to be heard and interact because they're very gifted people. A lot of times, most of them should be up there talking before me. And it proves what I've been saying, that so much of our population are contactees and things that happens because it happens in the dream realm and the things it's hard to remember dreams. But that when things happen on that type of a state of consciousness, like theta or even delta, it's hard to retrieve the memories of it. It's just buried in the subconscious. So it's, but that's important, getting around people that have had similar experiences. And heck, when I was a kid experiencing this stuff, even a teenager, there was hardly any outlets. The first one that came up was Art Bell.
Art Bell, that's right. Everybody knows Art Bell. I mean, I used to lay in bed listening to Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM. You and I both are alumni of Coast to Coast AM.
Yeah. No, I never thought there's no way you helped me out. You said, I don't think many people know you were on there. You should actually let people know. So and that was years ago. So I had posted it, and a lot of people said they didn't know. So thanks for that. That's an interesting. That's an interesting experience because just something I listened to for so long with various hosts, but the original, of course, was Art. That's going back to the mid '90s when he was still doing the wild card line.
The wild card. That's fun. I like it, a good variety,
Yeah.
That the wild card, what was that? That wasn't the time travelers. That was just wild card.
He would sometimes divert that one to time travelers, like once a year or something. And I know we gotta get our subject, but I was just talking with somebody that I remember that one of them, and I haven't been able to find it. I found some of them. The guy from 2037 that wasn't John Teeter, that's a real good one. He called in twice at 2 of those events. But there was another guy that had called in, and he was telling Art, he said, well, the timeline I come from, we have a black president. We had a black president. And Art's saying, oh, that's not likely. Like there won't be a woman president. He said, there isn't a timeline I come from. He said, and things are going to change. And this is what I remember vividly. He said, things are going to change, that what you all are doing with CDs, and right then CDs are still kind of new. They're all shiny with the laser look on them. He said CDs will be like 8 tracks. He said they'll go out and everything will start being streamed. He said you'll know things are different when things are streamed. I'll never forget it. I heard that on that show. I've tried to find it. You know what I mean? So that's 2 things. This got somebody said he came from a different timeline, but how far off is that from what we're experiencing right now?
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're still kind of streaming, right? Everything's streaming now. Everything is. What's next?
Well, CDs are like records. You ask the kids even older than your son, hey, what's a record? They look at you, what? What's a tape?
Yeah.
They have no idea. You know what I mean? Some of us still have VCR tapes, knowing that we don't have a machine to play them on anymore. And if we did, they would snap.
Oh my God, I know. We talked about this last week. I remember we had that conversation about the tapes because I talked about my son being like, what is a tape? And I was like, oh, my first tape with cuss words on it when I was a kid. I remember that, So with songs with cuss words in them. Dennis, thank you so much for becoming a member of my channel. Man, Hunting the Shadows. That's Dennis Carroll, y'all.
Dennis, what's up, man? Good to see you back, man. I'm glad you're well. We went through all that all right.
Yeah. I want to say, let everybody know in the chat and all over the place. My thoughts and prayers are still going out to the people who have been affected by the flooding up there in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. There's still a lot of damage going on, and people are still recuperating and recovering, and so we're still thinking about y'all, big time. So Dennis finally got his internet back on, finally. So I think that was over the weekend. He got his internet back on. So shout out to Dennis.
I'm feeling a certain way, Jones. I think since we got Dennis right there in the chat, we should access some information because he's by far an expert on demonology. I am not, okay? But when I start looking at these pale crawlers, and to me they appear to be ghouls. I've always kind of thought, and the rake to that degree too. And I think maybe the classifications between the pale crawlers and the rake are maybe as broad as we think. I know Dennis knows a lot more about that, but I look at some of the things that I've always heard that go back, and things that are them being affiliated with the inner earth. And if there is species that again comes from these cataclysms that once happened on Earth, these like the ice, the end of the ice age, the beginning of it, these things where humans went underground, that there's some type of a mutation of that. Not like the ant people, but something that's being experimented down there, or that they are just evolved down there. And that they're subterranean, and now since all the fracking and everything, they're starting to come up more often, and they're seen. Now, my question is, are the pale crawlers ghouls technically, by what we would call them? Because the ghouls have got different classification from a zombie, unless I'm mistaken. Okay, they're two different things. I know Dennis could quote this off just like that. So I'm not so good with the dark stuff, Jones. You know that. I don't. I know their strategies and stuff, but I don't like really going too deep into it. But anyway, this is just, I think, is worthy questions. Now, regarding the video you sent me.
I'm going to show some pictures while you're talking. Okay, so the audience.
Yeah, I'm about done talking because I'm going to talk about that video. The rest to say.
Well, while you're talking, I'm going to show the video. I mean, not the video, because I'm really weird about these copyright strikes and stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to show some still shots, but it is on my Instagram. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about it. Let's taco about it. Okay, somebody said something about tacos in the chat. Let's talk about it. This is wild. Okay, Barry, I thought this was fake when the first time I saw it. I just kind of was like, oh, that's just people in costumes. Okay, those are costumes. That's just somebody doing it for the gram. I don't know. I think this might be real. I'm just saying. Okay.
Okay. May I ask you, what brings you to that conclusion? Did you remote view it? Did he not tell you?
No, I have not remote viewed it. Nope. I haven't. No, I have not remote viewed this. This is just something to discuss. This would be a great remote viewing target, though. It sure would. To find out if these things are real. What are they? They move like sideways on all fours down a hill. They look like, I compared them to goats this morning when I was talking to my mom. It's like they kind of look like skinny, long-legged goats or something, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. Here's the problem, okay? In just being objective, is that CGI and AI programs have just ruined everything. And it's so hard to use discernment now to tell what is real and not. Because to me, I got to be honest, this looks just totally fake to me. I mean, I've seen other pictures of rakes and other videos of rakes, and they seem to be the ones for some reason that are most commonly caught on video. But the other ones I saw looked a little more convincing than this, I thought. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not real, though. So I don't want everybody to get mad at me. Yeah, he's not seeing it. I'm not an expert on CGI. I am not an expert on AI, but in a situation like this, is this a situation where you've got some sort of a exiting aperture from the inner earth and they're coming around and there's a few of them? And the next question is, what are they doing? Are they coming to attack, to eat? Because I believe Dennis has probably already responded. But if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, the ghouls eat flesh as well.
Yeah.
They're cannibals, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Ooh, so was that an ambush, a bushwhacking? Are those gentlemen getting bushwhacked? that's a southern term, isn't it?
They got bush. Well, it's an ambush, man. Well, okay, I think these guys were riding it looks like a side by side, some sort of like an ATV vehicle, maybe, or I don't know, maybe it was it kind of looks like a motorcycle or something. I don't know, what, a tractor. I don't know what the heck that thing is. It's got a roof on it. They're obviously in another country. They're not in the United States, I don't believe. Mm-hmm. And on TikTok, the video has Arabic writing on it. It sounds as though they're speaking in an Arabic language, potentially. But they're in some sort of vehicle. Now, they were driving, and the story is their vehicle got stuck. And so the gentleman jumped out of the vehicle to get their truck unstuck. and these things came out of a cave, or they were just there, and they, ran up on them. Now I did kind of blow this picture up of this one particular one, because I mean I've watched this so many times, and I'm like, it could be CGI, of course, could be. Uh, but I've watched it enough times where I'm not sure. Okay, I'm really not sure. Here's a super close up. If I can get it to show up, there's no hands. It's like pig hands and pig legs. Okay, uh, skinny head, long body. The way it's moving is just weird.
Man, when I
I
look at the head, when I look at the shape of the head, do you know what that looks like to me?
What?
A slee stack from Lost Land of the Lost. Look at the way it's shaped. The kind of little point on the top. You see it? Kind of reminds me of Land of the Lost, a slee stack. They kind of had a head like that. Yeah,
Oh,
and if you look at
okay.
the eyes appear to be slanted, going back. It almost has a reptilian look to it. Honestly, if you look at it, wow, it's interesting.
It does.
One heck of a mask. I'll tell you, if one more person sends me that video of that Sasquatch sitting down, just chilling out, eating some grass, like right in front of people where they can video it like that, and that thing looked like a Jack Link's outfit if I've ever seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, like a lot of people said that too. What do you think about this? I think it's a Jack Link's. That's what I think. Anyway, so.
Yeah. Hey, okay, I have a question. It looks like we are frozen here, according to some people that are watching right now. Are we frozen? Can people in the chat? Is there anybody that's listening right now?
We're froze.
Yeah, it says that we're froze. This is weird. It's like StreamYard is acting really crazy today.
Yeah, it gave you a ton of problems. It didn't even make any sense.
Yeah, it's like the viewer count just went down.
We're still in high
half.
solar activity, and it's been acting funny probably since that. Just like the attacks have gone up since high solar activity.
Yeah, let me check. Let me see if it's on Facebook. Hold on. We'll see. We're still streaming right now, so let's do it. If anything else, we'll just upload this. We'll upload it after the show because we're still going right now. Okay, I don't want to stop the show. Cool. All right, let's just keep going. Let me check Facebook and see if it's streaming there. I'm sorry, viewers. I'm really sorry. It says that it's frozen. Yeah, it is streaming on Facebook right now. We're live on Facebook. So let me type this in the comments real quick. Live on Facebook. Streaming. It doesn't say that it's not streaming. We are okay. I'm sorry, everybody. We are live on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, we're live on Facebook, y'all. Please come see us on Facebook. Okay, let's keep going, Barry. All right, so let me see. Maybe let me get a link for Facebook too, in case people need it. This is wild. I don't know what's going on StreamYard and YouTube, and I don't know. I had a really hard time getting my audio and my audio to work today. Okay, so we're on Facebook. There we go. We got Andrew putting the links in there. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Okay, so let's get back to this pill crawler then, and like I said, I will upload this video again up to YouTube after we get done today. Okay. The options are this could be CGI. Could be CGI. But after watching that video, Barry, I think that this could be real. Okay. I think it could. Let me read a little something about it while we're looking at it. Okay, it says okay, so around October the 6th, 2024, there were a couple of men. There's like 3 men that I could find that were actually, that got their truck stuck. Okay, their truck was stuck. Let me go back here. I'm sorry. This is wild that the streaming is just all messed up today.
Well, there's something wrong with YouTube also. It's stuck. I'm looking on my phone.
YouTube, yeah. They said that it's frozen. I hope I'm not making a funny face like I normally am when it freezes, but it's okay.
Now you're going with this. You got the thing like that. No,
I
I'm
know.
just
I
kidding.
got my microphone.
I'm
My
just kidding. No, you
microphone's in
know,
my mouth.
I'm just messing with you, Oh, anyway, you were saying something about the deal. Sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, so the men had the vehicle broke down. It got stuck. It didn't break down. It got stuck. And then these men were accosted by this group. Uh, they say that pell crawlers started surfacing. Okay, this is what somebody's like the commentary for this video. It said pell crawlers started surfacing when subterranean warfare began in 2016. They used to be contained in the tunnel systems, but the caverns have been destroyed. If you are scratched with their claws, tetrodotoxin, whatever that is, some kind of poison, will paralyze you and they will drive you back to the hive to be eaten. Wow. Okay. I can't confirm nor deny or not any of that information there, but that was some of the commentary with that video. Um,
Well,
You did say that you heard that they could eat you, right?
yeah, and that they're subterranean. I've always heard they're subterranean. Those creatures are subterranean, but I've always heard them kind of grouped in with the rake too. So I don't know. That's what Dennis would know more about that than I. But I know
Yeah,
but the ghouls, of them being ghouls, and ghouls eat flesh also.
they
Definitely,
do.
'cause I don't think all zombies necessarily that's a requirement. Or one of their characteristics all the time of zombies, but of the ghouls, I believe it is. You
Yeah.
know, I was, that's the thing taking over right now. Was I I was on Sci-Fi the other day, and they were playing Hellraiser. And I've never actually sat and watched all those movies all the way through, and I wound up just sitting there and just watched it, and I fell asleep during it. I tend to kind of
Okay.
vibrate with my friend Jerry Daly. He's passed now, but when I was a kid, he wrote for the Super Friends, and he also made several movies. One of them was a movie called Black Magic Woman that starred Apollonia Catero and Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and she was a dark witch, and she was hexing old Luke Skywalker. That's what so. But he also did movies called Wishcraft 1 through 3. And I remember
Okay.
after my aunt had passed, he came to that funeral, and I'd seen him. He lives in L.A., but for a long time, we sit there and talked at dinner, and he said, B, he said, man, when I used to write those horror and stuff like that, he said, man, I don't think people should be doing that and focusing on that. I said, why? He said, man, after a while, I started seeing things. I started seeing apparitions and manifestations, and that stuff starting to manifest. He said, it's no good. He said, that's why I only write comedies now. I write comedies. I don't have any of those problems at all. He said, people should not be focusing on that stuff like that. Just
No.
saying. And it's
I
somebody
know,
that
right?
was
Because we
from that
start
industry.
manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that they actually a lot of these things will be put out that because it gets into our collective consciousness, then we start creating that. And so I mean, there's so many movies that I just don't like watching, like those what is it, Saw and those Hostel movies and stuff. It's just horrible, horrible stuff. And I'm pretty animate about how I used to talk about how I quit watching those like homicide shows and stuff because it
Mm-hmm.
finally
Yeah.
came to my doorstep one day. It's almost like I
No.
had watched it so much I manifested it onto my street. That's what I felt like. I mean, I don't think I really. I mean, I don't know if I did or not. It didn't. That's when I quit watching it, though. It was
Mm-hmm.
around
Yeah.
then.
Saw. I couldn't do those movies, man. I couldn't make it through those. I was like, man, I'm all right, man. That was
Right.
pretty rough, man. I could do Chainsaw Massacre. That's about as hard as I could go, man. I don't need any more of that, man. That stuff is. I like horror, but I don't like gore. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Well, I mean, I'm not a huge. I think we're back on YouTube now, y'all. Okay. I think YouTube's back up, or maybe not. I don't know. I It was up for a second, and then I looked down, and it's not up there anymore. So I apologize to everybody who's watching live on YouTube. I will repost this video on YouTube under my videos playlist. Okay, after the show today. That's a shame, man. This is a good show today, and it sucks. It's on
I think
YouTube
I
yet.
don't mean to sound egotistical, but I think all the shows you and I do are good. All the shows you do
Yeah.
are good, but ones you and I do are good. You know, and I'm
Thank
getting
you.
noticed that now because I've got a lot of people that are starting to come forward, like to my channel or some of these interviews I'm doing, coming as clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's really been cool. And people, a lot of them are new. They just heard you or they just heard me. You know, and I was at a point to where I was like, man, I ain't gonna do this stuff anymore. So the fact that I was gonna, but like real low key and just kind of on the side and not like it is now. I want to keep doing. I've been doing this for 10 years now. So wasn't for you, I would have backed off that. So thank you. You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
I try to tell people that on the live feed yesterday. So I think it's important.
Yeah.
You know, I've come up against some characters. I won't go into that. They're just nefarious to say the least.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easy to pinpoint. It's real easy to pinpoint the evil guy who's standing on the devil who's standing on the end of the street in the black suit with the black cane, twirling it with the black mustache and all that. But the ones that clothe themselves in good deeds are not so easy to, not so apparent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So everybody in the chat keeps saying it's back on now. It's frozen again. It's back on frozen. So it's just off and on. So you guys please go to my Facebook channel, my Facebook page. It's Jessica, the Cryptid Huntress. It's streaming live. It's up in there, and I got a bunch of you guys did go over there. So thank y'all so much
It's
for
like we're in
that. And
suspended
I'm
animation.
sorry. It's showing on StreamYard that it's streaming fine through YouTube. So it's obviously it's a YouTube problem, I guess. Okay, so it's working fine on Facebook. It's showing that it's streaming fine on my end, but it's just YouTube today. So maybe who knows what's going on. But anyways, let's get back to these pale crawlers. Okay, because pale crawlers are this is how they're described as. If you go to like Cryptid Wiki or cryptidzfandom.com, that's where I got this description from. Okay, online. They're humanoid creatures described as thin and pale with long limbs and claws and large black eyes. They're known to be incredibly fast, stealthy, and smart. While unconfirmed, it is likely that pill crawlers are hyper aggressive. Now, according to that video and the pictures that I was showing, they did go with those guys. They did come at them, but they don't have hands to grab them. I don't think they could probably take those little pegs and poke at them, I guess. So
What'd you say that they're known to scratch people and they cause a what infection?
yes, they're known to scratch. It says tetrodotoxin, some kind of toxin, some kind of poison will come. It will come out of them somehow, and it paralyzes you. Maybe it's something like a spider uses. Don't spiders actually paralyze their victims too? I'm pretty sure they
Mm-hmm.
do. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like a spider. Yeah, Dan says paralyze you.
Is that what the mutant Spider-Man underground in Nevada does? Doesn't he do
Oh,
that?
that's well. You know what? We have heard stories of the spider human hybrid named Max. I've heard about quite a bit from different sources, and they say that I guess it does. It probably does paralyze the victim before it eats it. Okay, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it might be, but you know when I hear that story, do you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
In the 80s, like one of the last videos that the Jackson 5 did together when they were adults, it was called Torture. It's
Okay.
torture. In that video, they had this man spider that was coming down there like trapped in the web. Don't you remember that?
No.
I'm just saying, it kind of reminds me of that. Or maybe the Fly, the original Fly. Help me! Help me! Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Hey, this is real
Sorry.
life, Barry. We're
Yeah,
talking
sorry.
about real life pill crawlers.
Yeah, but again, the thing about them scratching people and making that tetro type of poison. Now that is interesting. That's interesting.
Hmm.
That kind of implies again what we're dealing with some type of experiment. You know, no matter
Yes.
how many of them there are, they seem to be a experiment from no doubt one of these laboratories that you've seen remote viewing that go back, you know, perhaps millions of years. Honestly, it definitely.
They could be. You know what I found really interesting, Barry, is that they're not all white. Did you notice
Really?
that two of them are pink or like a red color? Those two, there's one in the front. It almost looked like a deer or something from this picture, but they're not all white. They're like a pinkish red.
That's true. I don't know if that has anything to do with exposure, but you're right. They appear to be different hues.
Yeah. Uh, it's just an observation. They're not, because we think that pale crawlers are all white, but these have some pink in them. Okay, so
Hey,
I don't.
Jessica, did
If you
anybody get touched? You mentioned, did anybody get touched by one or anything
no,
like that, or touch
no,
one?
not of those, not that I know of. I think it was just an encounter where they did eventually get their truck out of there, their vehicle, and then they took off. Okay, and they left. But this was they had sticks in their hands and stuff, in case they did come at them. I don't think they got close enough to touch them. I don't think they kind of yelled and were waving sticks at them and stuff. Probably throwing rocks at them. For all I know, I would be
Yeah,
like, get out of here, or I just
yeah,
probably ditch my truck and run. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't run. But I
I
don't
mean,
know. I don't know. You
I
never
mean,
know.
I would rather not encounter one. I mean, they don't, they got it. They have a bad vibe to them, regardless. And
They
is it
do.
something that could have happened during one of these wars that's here? A mutation from that, one of these wars in the past. They have things. What is it? The Libyan glass and things like that that show that there was some type of thermonuclear activity here in the past. And does that mean that these beings are coming from those eras? They've just been
Mhm.
trapped underground, like I said, or contained, but maybe they just are always there. It's very interesting.
That's interesting that you said contained. Okay, because yeah, because it said that they used to be contained in the tunnel systems. Okay, like they were once contained in the tunnel systems, and so what contained that means that someone's keeping them there. I mean
And
that's
that's the word they used there too, wasn't it? Contained.
yep, contained.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Exactly. And
Oh,
who will be keeping them? Is it just these agencies that we're unaware of? These dark agencies, or is it like Black Project agencies, or is it something more than that? You know what I mean? Things that we've not seen, horrible beings
mhm.
that we're not seeing. You often think that there's this war going on. What do the
Yeah.
beings look like that come to battle those that are the forces of light, the forces of creator? What do they look like? What are they like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, what are the beings sent like to fight them from the light side? Are they really these cats in sandals with arrows, or
Cats and
are they
sandals.
creatures just as fierce as the ones they're sent to destroy? This is food for thought, because our concepts of heaven and hell have been influenced by the negative self. Anyway, but I think this is relative when we're talking about these creatures, because I think this no, they feel demonic to me. I just got to say it.
They do. They do. Okay, Don says he would have been sending freedom seeds. I call them freedom fries at them, and I don't blame you for that. They do look solid. They do look like they're in 3D. They don't look like they're transparent like apparitions. They look like three-dimensional. I don't want to say flesh and blood, but I don't know what they're made out of.
See, I'm
Right?
like William Shatner right now. I want to belong. I want to belong. What the heck are freedom seats? I would assume that is like a, ammunition, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? This very video is why I carry a firearm with me everywhere I go. Okay, because just in case you get some crawlers creeping up on you like that in the middle of the woods, and this does appear as though it's in a different country. It's not in the United States. I don't believe, but who's to say they're not here too? Okay, because we get a lot of videos of them, a lot of pictures. My buddy who's on my team has one on his camera in his yard. They're pretty much all over the place. But this is the first video. If this is a legit real video of it's a real video, but are these real pill crawlers? That's the question. I have not remote viewed it. We're here just talking about it. If this is real, this is pretty major. If this is a
I,
real
I,
video,
I'd like to see it get analyzed, like that unexplained with my friend Alexis Brooks and that other guy,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of get into a lot of this stuff. Like, for example, one that everybody thought was real was that ball lightning going across the railroad tracks, then going up and going through,
Yeah,
that looked pretty real, don't you think? They proved that
it
was
did.
a setup deal. You know what I mean? And so something like that, I'd like to see analyze this footage here, just for safekeeping.
Yeah.
you know, I just it just sucks that we're getting to that where everything has to be doubted so much right now. You know.
You know what I think? I think we should send this. Somebody should send this to Thinker Thunker. What do you think?
Yeah, he seems to have gone all political. His last posts were all political related, so I haven't been watching
Oh,
everything he
really?
puts out.
Or
Yeah,
MK
yeah, a
Davis.
couple.
MK Davis too would be a good one to send that to, right?
Yeah, somebody I'd like to meet. I'd like to sit and chat with him for a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Both
Oh,
both of
Lori.
them do good work. Good
Oh,
work.
go ahead.
No, I
Yes,
said both of them do
they're
good
both
work.
really good researchers and analysis. They do good analysis on videos like that. Now, Lori has a good point. Male and female, different colors.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
question.
That's a good
Maybe.
question. Like pink could be the females, maybe. White
Did,
could be
did,
the
did,
males.
did it kind of look like maybe the orange ones were a little bigger too than the white ones, or is that my imagination?
Let's look.
Like they might
Let's
weigh
look
a
at these
little bit
pictures
more?
again. They do. They do look a little bit bigger. Maybe they are female. God, those are
Not much, but a
creepy.
little. Yeah.
Wow. You know what else those could be confused as would be those not deers or no deers. Are they called not deers? They kind of look like deers from a distance, but they're not. you know. So
Let me ask a question to you and the audience. Why do you all think they walk on fours? Is that strictly something they've evolved to do, or what? You know what I mean? Is it because the gravity is heavier, deeper you go into the earth? I'm just wondering, what is it? Why do they walk on all fours?
it
Because it's
could
not.
be.
It's
Hey,
not. The one they have on one of those videos about that might be a rake. It almost looks like it's doing like a Bigfoot, a spider crawl. But these ones are just on all fours. But
hmm well, I mean, it could be the caves. I've been in caves before, and there are places that you got to go and get in. You got to crawl through and stuff. So maybe that's why. Maybe they're crawling through the caves. That's just their
and
natural environment.
if you look at the structure of that, I just got to throw this out, and people gonna get mad at me, but that looks a lot like somebody in the costume bit over it. That's not very comfortable. You can't they couldn't stay like that long. You know what I mean? Kind of like those people who walk around like that and do that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look like that's a natural position to me any more than if you and I did it.
Yeah, I know.
Based on, I
Well,
know the arms aren't quite long enough, and it looks like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm skeptical on some things. I can't help it.
oh, I was skeptical too, and but the more that I watch this, the more I analyze it. It's either CGI or this is a real pill crawler. That's not. I don't think that could be somebody in a suit.
We need some
Personally,
experts to diagram
yeah.
it. Really,
Look how
like you
long
said.
that torso is. Look how long the torso is. Look how skinny the arms are and the legs. There's no feet and there's no hands. Okay, let's get it even closer up.
Yeah,
There's
get
no
it
feet and there's
closer if
no
we can.
hands. Okay. I mean, it
You're
just
right.
looks like
I don't see
pegs.
digits on the hands.
Mm-mm. And
Not
look how
really.
little the head is. Okay. This is so fun. I love
And
looking
that
at this
again, when
stuff.
I look at that head, that doesn't look reptilian to you. Like there's a little cone on the top of the head, and the eyes are slightly slanted up.
It does kind of
Like
like that statue from
I
Japan.
yeah, I made the sleeve stack
Mhm.
joke, but really that's what it kind of reminds me of, just the head itself. I mean,
Yeah.
I can even see what appears to be a mouth, the shadow of a mouth, the
Mhm.
slit there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I don't
just
know. I
me.
mean, this might come out as a hoax down the road, but I don't know. I just don't know.
Kind of like
And like I said,
kind of like the Miami aliens that just went away.
yes.
Who's
Ooh,
talking about that still?
I know. Well, speaking of which,
Hoax,
no,
hoax.
yeah. Well, speaking of which, there was also this really interesting alleged UFO crash that went over. I guess it crashed in Washington D.C. And I think that we should talk about that a little bit today because I do have some information on that.
Let's go into it. In fact, tell the whole thing because I don't know a whole lot about that till you mentioned it. I not heard it.
Okay, so on October 12th, starting around midnight on October 12th, that's on the East Coast over here, from 12 a.m. to around 3 o'clock in the morning, uh, around Washington, D.C. and 4 surrounding states, including Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina was a big one. There were a bunch of witnesses out of Raleigh, people that were posting things on TikTok, of course. But they said that there were multiple people reporting they saw a giant object flying across the sky and then a huge sonic boom. Now, this thing looked like it was an airplane on fire, but I don't think it made any noise. And they said that the airplane was the size of like 10 airplanes. It was huge. So they saw it flying and it was basically on fire. And then it must have crashed in around Washington D.C. On that same night. This man had reported, and I have like screenshots of this man who's walking through D.C. at night. That night, he says, early in the morning, late at night, with dozens of police cars, Secret Service, law enforcement lining the roads and blocking off a bunch of roads in Washington D.C. Okay, now Barry, we all know there's this possibility of there being like Project Blue Beam getting, is that what it's called, Blue Beam, getting ramped up. Maybe there's, maybe it's craft that our government owns or some kind of Boeing project or skunk works or something. I don't know. But there is a big buzz about this. And if you go look on TikTok, the trusted news source, okay, you will find videos of it. Now, I have seen plenty of what I would say are like chemtrails in the night sky. I've seen those. This kind of looks like that. But they said, no, this is actually, and you can see this person's TikTok. Let me see if I can blow it up. This is from Saberdem. I can't even see that. 72 on TikTok. This is from a trail from where they said that this is what the crash was. It was like whatever's on fire that left that trail right there. I have a few more pictures. That, and I just grabbed some shots off their video there, but it said there was a strange crash landing.
And nobody got this on video. There's no videos of this crash in Washington D.C.
Well, they did not. Okay, there's no videos of the actual thing. It must have happened kind of quickly. I mean, there's no ring cam videos or anything. I mean, usually there's a ring cam video, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird.
And no videos of all these cops barricading all this stuff. I mean, like the Miami stuff.
Okay, so here's this guy. So he goes on TikTok as well, and
this guy,
and his TikTok is right there. Yeah, it's down there at the bottom. His TikTok. We're going to give him some credit. Okay, so he's filming. He said this is the same night, and he's walking through downtown DC, and there's all these police cars everywhere, but they're not like stopping him and being like, yo, this area is cordoned off, stay back. There's none of that. It's him just walking casually through the cops and is like, what's up, y'all? They're like, what's up? So that could pretty much be from anything, in my opinion. Okay, but this is him walking
I'm really glad you said that. I'm just sitting here trying not to say anything. Cool.
So this could be from anything. All right.
He obviously, if you look at that and you look at him and his body posture, obviously he's had an alien crash, an alien spaceship crash. I mean, just look at that. That's pretty.
Exactly.
You've got these crisis actors now. You've got these these productions that are put on. And this stuff, it gets so muddy. I just got through watching. I actually sat and watched 4 videos of this brother with gray hair saying he's a vampire. You know what I mean? And of course, the greatest gift is that no one will believe that he exists. That's what they said in Bela Lugosi's deal with Van Helsing, man. I mean, come on. And I'm not saying it's not real, it's not true, but I mean, I'm just not quite as thinking. And what do you say? He was 175 years old?
Well, he said that his teeth, it hurt. It was sore. It was sore. He's like, well, it's just like when you have food in front of you, like his teeth don't always come out until it's like a salivary. What is the word? Salivating. Unless he's salivating over something, his teeth won't come out. It's like when you have a steak in front of you, and your mouth starts to water. And that's for the people who eat meat. Okay, for the vegetarians, when you have some, mushrooms in front of you or something, I don't know, salad, some veggies, you start your mouth will water if something smells good, right? And you're ready to eat. You got some pastries, some donuts, I don't know, banana pudding,
I
tater
start doing the
logs.
Grace Jones, vamp it out when somebody has some some steak. Tar. They just lose
Ooh,
it.
I like steak. You know what? I actually like steak tartare personally, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a vampire. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh man.
listen, I eat weird stuff, so I do. I don't mind some raw steak tartare
Jones, you eat
occasionally.
steak tartare?
I
Seriously?
do,
I
yeah.
would expect
From
to
it,
hear that,
I
man.
it's
Do
got
you
to
eat
be
liver?
like high quality.
Do you eat
Yeah.
liver?
I have. I've eaten fried livers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a delicacy down here in the South, baby. Everybody eats fried livers. Well, it just depends on where you get them from. There's certain restaurants that make them real good around here. So they taste like iron to me. Like they taste like a mineral or something. I just don't. Or metal. It tastes like metal. So they're good for you though. Any kind of organ meat's good. I don't prefer it. I know, right?
I was listening to what is it? Somebody that I don't particularly care on some of his views when it comes to spiritual stuff, but
Yeah,
scientifically he's bad. Neil Tyson Degrassi,
your
and he had
favorite. I'm just
what,
kidding.
like, what's that?
I said your favorite. Your favorite. You
I,
sent me that
I,
video.
I don't hate the brother or nothing, but I
Yeah.
think he's about as spiritual as a thimble. You know what I mean? But as a scientist, he knows his stuff. But he had made a comment because he's a meat eater. And some vegetarians jumped on him for being a carnivore, and he's saying, well, that's just fine. But everybody wonders about extraterrestrial species. If you were from a utopian civilization that were plant based, and you came to Earth and you saw vegetarians, you would be appalled. You would leave here immediately because not just are
Yeah.
vegetarian murderers, they go after the babies. Everything is baby squash, baby carrots. And
Baby
he was going
squash.
on to that. People getting
Baby
real mad at
carrots.
him. But it's interesting, sometimes it's all about perspective, isn't it? I don't know.
It is. It is all about perspective. I mean, and that's like where my world kind of changed when I realized that we're not the top of the food chain here too on Earth.
No,
And
no.
so that changed my perspective on life. Okay, when I started realizing that too.
You know,
So
the real thing, and I'll just go into this for a second, okay? Because this is important. Spirit saying I should. And I talked about this last night. No, we're not the apex predator on this planet. And because of our technologies and the way we're kind of brought up in this primitive, almost fleshy type of a way, we think that we're the dominant here. And the truth is we do have a predator. And they're for the half part invisible. You've got these different types of shadows, okay? And when I've talked about the shadows that are ovular and circular that I was seeing. But the day I had somebody that was, teaching me a few things, had a bunch of experience, much older than me when I was a teenager, had me over and we're gonna hang for a bit, and we go into this dark, got this stuff over the room, and he winds up cutting the lights off. And we're sitting in there, and I start seeing out of peripheral shadows. And it was somewhat alarming because peripheral's in black and white, and it was very dark in this room, and I was seeing them peripheral. I was going, he starts, he turned his light back on. He's like, I knew you had enough energy to see them, but you're not really looking at them. And then that's when I saw another one that was larger that seemed to hurl through the air when you could focus on it. And it seemed like you'd almost hear it thump, boom. It's very, very disturbing,
that is
And
really
and those are
disturbing.
those are the ones that you really want to avoid. Okay, they're not the ovals, they're not the spherical. Those are flyers, is what they're called. And going to that, something else about that, as far as us being predators, what I mentioned yesterday is that you have, when you actually look at people. I did a video a few weeks ago called "Psychically Colorblind," and it was because the way I was seeing, the more I even had tried, and naturally, was I wasn't seeing colors in people's auras. I was just seeing like a white color around them or a gray, but there's always a certain configuration around people. And I thought I wasn't seeing, because I wasn't seeing where people were mad, this red color. I wasn't seeing all that stuff. But a lot of people don't see like that. But I could see this black part in like the middle of this, what's called the luminous cocoon is what they call it, the luminous shell. And when we are children, okay, this thing glows, but when I see adults at like around their feet, it seems a little bit brighter. Okay, even sometimes up to around almost the lower knees, it seems brighter, and it just goes into this other luminous cocoon that's darker. Now, if you can see and you look at an infant, especially a baby, they have not just a luminous cocoon, but they have this like sheen that is around it, this bright glow of awareness, this sheen. And since humanity has that, and people have that, and that's what truly will make us magical, I do believe, it makes us food for those inorganic beings on a higher, on a different level. And we talk about Earth being as a twin world, just like this you and I are twins. We got our physical body, and then we've got our dream body, our energy body. And I've talked before about actually putting the cognitive abilities fully into the dream body. Okay, that's something that you have masters and ancients that were doing quite frequently. Okay, and some of these techniques, that's what they're actually honed to do. So is to bring actually that cognitive ability into the dream body as well. So when dealing with that, and Earth being a twin world, like I said, we have beings, we have awareness with organism, you and most of the things we see here. Okay, is awareness and consciousness with organism. The twin world here is filled with beings with awareness and no organism. And they're all around us. They're like the veil between us is very thin. Okay, but that's why some of the ancients would call them inorganic beings. But they're all around us. And I was mentioning before, and what they do is they feed on that code of awareness these babies have. And by the time you're a teenager, you don't have it anymore. It's already down on your feet. See what I'm saying? They're predators, and what they do is they're herding us like cattle. And what they do is keep us on this very bestial level. Okay, worried about bills, this and that. We're not very spiritual, keeping us on this bestiality level. Like, for example, a lot of us are worried about starving when we don't have food, and we're worried about starving. That's the mind of the predator that they've given us. In terms of the predator is always worried it's going to be discovered and not have their food source. And the most brilliant strategy that those dark forces have is that they've given us their mind. And when I say that, that's our negative self. Those thoughts we get, those negative thoughts that come through, that's the negative self. And then we get these traumas, we make decisions during the traumas, which are never good ones. That creates negative identities. So the negative self fractures into these negative identities. All right. And so much of our energy is trapped in that, between maintaining our lives and in that. And it's weird, you go through that trauma, the subconscious comes up and grabs it and takes it back, takes it in. Okay. Wow. The decisions you made, and it makes those negative identities. And you may be totally freaking unaware of it, but it's back there running in the background, just like these darn things, that have these apps in the background apps that are running all the time. It says the phone's putting them to sleep, but it's really not half the time, and the thing's getting hot and swelling and all this other stuff. So that's, but it's the same thing with us. And so much of our energy and perception and personal power goes into the negative self and negative identities that it restricts us. Then you've got these beings that create these crises for us, attack us. Like I said before, somebody's gonna get mad at me. The Enterprise, and you've got, let's say, these warbirds around it, these Klingons, 4 or 5 of them around it, firing on it. And what they do is they're trying to collapse the shields. And for those of us that know how to shield ourselves, the dark forces use your loved ones. They attack you through your loved ones. People irritating you.
Yes.
The petty tyrant at work. that's always trying to get in metal management. They may have got there, causing everybody problems, make everybody's day miserable. Okay. And then you go home and they're jumping in your house. In your house, they're messing with your plumbing, causing you money problems there. Then they go over to the garage and jump into the liquids of your car, mess with your transmission. That costs you a bunch of money. And all this is stuff that's flaring your emotions. And eventually it makes, for those of us like you and I and your beautiful, wonderful audience who knows how to protect themselves, it creates these little cracks. And then they seep in and immediately go for the heart chakra and start attacking you through the people you love the most. Okay, the people you're close to. And then eventually they break you down more. They start storing themselves in places of organs you have trauma. We have different crises and trauma are stored in different organs. They attach to those, just like earthbound spirits do too. Okay, this is something people need to be very, very aware of because it's real. Trapped emotions, you can look that up on a chart. Where trapped emotions are stored in the human body. Look that up. It's worthy. You know what I mean? Anyway, but just point being that I'm just saying we have these predators around us all the time. They've given us their minds. They're draining us constantly. You know, and I went to talking about voices a lot when I had this kid that approached me. He's not a kid anymore. The kid's 39 years old. But I worked with him when he was 15, 16, 17. And he's one of the ones he said, I always wanted to see you again so I could thank you for the voices. You helped me with the voices. And it's kind of made me, you know, like kind of like when you and I started thinking back to all the kids that I talked to that had voices, you know, and how it was these patterns behind it and negative stuff. And they were always telling them the same stuff. The voices told me not to take the meds, you know, but it's just kids talking to psychiatric at a home placement. They'll talk more than anyone, you know what I mean? So, and then in my Patreon, some of my very few loyal Patreon people that I'm probably gonna shut that down, but just because I only have one more video I'm putting out and I'm done. But anyway, they started talking about this guy, Jerry Marinsky, I mentioned on your last show. I had not heard of him. So then I started getting into this work, and that brought me across to your friend Chantel again. She interviewed him several times. That cat's bad, man. He's bad.
She's in the chat.
Way beyond what I was talking
Shanti's
about.
In here.
Greetings to her, man. Good interviewer she is. But I don't want to repeat myself too much, but it's important stuff. What they're talking about and what he's talking about. It's very real. You know, so what I'm saying, the negative self and the negative identities already exist. That's a fire burning in us all the time. And you've got this negative the negative beings. All they got to do is come and pour some grease on the fire and it just blows up even more. They don't have to do all that much. Put some thoughts in our mind that are masked as your own. Yeah. So you think it's your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of our thoughts are not our own. And this is stuff that, you know, people need to be very aware of. And it's some of these shadows, these flyers that are doing that. You know what I mean? And then there's others. And be careful. I warn people, if you come up against these other shadows, like I mentioned, the ovals and the spherical ones, you can most likely get them off of you, get rid of them, they'll run away. There's several things you can do, but be careful. You get one of those flyers on you, or one even bigger and older than that, one that's millions of years old, billions of years old, and you do your protections, and instead of being gone, it's more like this. You know what I mean? And saying that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I'm taking your luminosity. I'm taking your awareness, and you're scared to death. What do? It's real serious. Those people that are trying to mess with these dark forces, and I did this and I battled such and such, and they're talking all this new age stuff. Okay, that's cool. I'm not trying to put you down, but you better be careful. Get one of those perfect. Come up on those that are perfectly possessed. You're in trouble. Anyway, sorry. Back to God. Okay, callers. They're demonic.
Yeah. I know, right? Well, I was actually gonna. Well, when you're talking about that, I'm thinking like, what kind of protection could we put up if we were to come across something? Now, Maureen, thank you, Maureen. This is a girl and her gong right here. Maureen, thank you so much for putting that on in the chat today. Okay, now I do want to say to the viewers, I don't know if YouTube is back up or not, but YouTube quit streaming for some reason today. There's been a connection problem through StreamYard or on YouTube's end. But Facebook is running. Okay, so I hope you guys are all here. Y'all come to Facebook. I will, like I said earlier, I will download this video and put it back on YouTube in full after the show today. Okay, so I apologize, y'all. It's some kind of technical problem on the streaming end of either YouTube or StreamYard. So I will figure it out after the show. But thank you. But yeah, like what kind of protection could we put up if we were to come into something like this? I mean, this looks more physical though, right? It's not just spiritual, but I mean, just having a high vibe is not going to stop those things from coming at us, right, Barry?
No, maybe jiu-jitsu.
A gun, yeah, right. Bullet, freedom fries.
Freedom
Okay,
fries. Got you now. Okay.
freedom
Somebody put on
fries.
there.
That's what we
Somebody
call
put on
them.
there. Ammo, Barry. Ammo. Okay, got you that.
Ammo. Yeah,
I'm familiar with that
freedom
term. Yeah.
fries, baby.
See, I'm
Yeah,
not very
that.
hip, brother. I want to be hip. Anyway, you know,
Oh
I,
my gosh.
when I think seriously, I think that a gun, like you said, is probably a way to deal with them, definitely, because like some protections, those are physical assaults there. You can see those assailants. The ones I was just going on too much about, you can't see. Just like you can't
Right.
see your feelings. You can't really see your emotions. They're
Okay.
invisible to a
That's
degree.
true.
But you feel their reactions and their
Yeah.
impact.
I something else. I was just thinking before we go today because I got to go. I'm gonna have to go pick up my kid here in just a few minutes. So I wanted to talk about. Did you hear about this mothership? Have you heard about a mothership that let out a swarm of drones? I think it was over the Pentagon. Hold on, let me read this real quick because I wanted to get your opinion on this before we go today. So U.S. officials don't know what's behind the drones that have flown unhindered over sensitive national security sites. They don't know how to stop them either. Now, this happened a while back. This was in December of 2023. For 17 days, these drones were flying over like very sensitive sites. Now, it could have been, I mean, it could have been another country doing it, but they said that people were saying that it was coming from the mothership. Like they were from a UFO. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard some things about Mothership lately. I don't know if that's what it was. To be honest, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. But that you hear about stuff like that frequently. It seems like that this would be the thing. Okay, is the thing is of what the natural phenomenon that's been messed up. Another thing, the era of the drones has made it so unable to tell we're seeing in the sky now.
Yeah.
Is it terrestrial, extraterrestrial? What is it? Is it human made? The drones really changed that. But when it comes to the actual phenomenon itself of contact, we have something called swarms, like
Yeah.
ship swarms, and they're more on the biological level. These biological organisms, and you see some of them almost multiplying in the sky. They look like a bunch of these lights. Sometimes you'll see others will appear and manifest while they're there, and then they'll be gone. But those are called swarms, and
Okay.
I think it's really important to think about those craft that we're seeing that are actually biological bioorganisms and how they can actually capable of reproduction and almost what was it I want to say almost mitosis. Yeah, UFO mitosis. That's what people are calling it that see it. UFO mitosis. And I did a video on my channel. It's called UFO swarms. I talk about that. But it looks like these ships are doing mitosis. And it's the same way that we would see almost microorganisms doing. So I think that needs to be taken into account too. And it's too bad that now we've got things with these drones and so much stuff coming up that we can't tell, what's what anymore. And what worries me, Jessica, is right now you've got so many people on edge, and we're at a time in our history where something's supposed to happen.
I know.
Something's
We're all
supposed to
waiting.
happen. So they're trying to make something happen, trying to jump us to these other timelines. That video, the kill shot and all these different things. So people just be aware, hold your frequency and try to see positive stuff and try to project positive. Keep us on a different trajectory, please. I think right now is the time that humanity is about to lose the stewardship of this planet. I think that's what's happening. And I'm hoping that people like us, people in the audience, can prevent that and change that timeline. Definitely. There's a whole, as well as I do, there's a whole lot of beings of all sorts of different types underneath this earth and above us that are in different dimensions and want to take over this place, you know? And it's interesting when we start dealing with so many, I'll shut up, so much this underground stuff and what you've seen remote viewing these labs. And I've said before, it really struck me, excuse me, when we talked about Eugene 99, the rust virus. I want to see where you saw that coming from. That was reported back in biblical times. And you were talking about a laboratory, an advanced one.
Yes.
See what I mean? So
Biblical
that right there,
times.
yeah. And when we think about hell, where is hell technically? It's always down, right? Underground.
Down underground.
Food for thought.
Where it's hot.
Yeah,
where it's hot and all
you.
that lava resides, I guess. I don't know. That's wild. I mean, and everybody is, we're all sitting here thinking like it's blue beam. It's gonna be blue beam. It could be, but just keep your head on a swivel, everybody. Okay, just keep your head on a swivel. We know the aliens are real. We know UFOs are real. It all exists. We know these weird creatures exist. Now, whether this video that we saw, well, I didn't show you the video, but the still shots from this creature out there, all these creatures, whether this is real or CGI, that's up for debate. It looks real to me. Okay, that's my opinion.
Jessica, you know MK, maybe give it to him. Do you think you can get a look at it?
Yeah, I'll send it to him. Yeah, I'll send him a message on Facebook. Yeah, maybe I'll shoot it to shoot him this video when we're done today. Yeah, cool. We'll see. That would be great for him to look at it for sure, and get some expertise. I do consider him an expert on analyzing videos and stuff. So he's very well known for analyzing thoroughly the Patterson-Gimlin film with Patty. So great guy. I will be speaking at the same event with him in January, the East Alabama Town Hall. Barry, you should just come on down for that.
I almost want to go to that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hang out with you at MK. That would be, what's the word? The Miz says it would be awesome.
Awesome. It'd be badass. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah. Well, man, this has been a fantastic show today. I've really had a good time. I'm really sorry to the audience who lost the streaming in YouTube today. It is showing on my end that it is still streaming, is what it shows on my end on YouTube, even though it's not. So that's weird. There has been some kind of technical difficulty, but y'all came in and watched this on Facebook. So thank y'all so much for switching over. Everybody that could. I know a lot of people don't have Facebook. I don't blame y'all one bit. Okay. But I will be posting this video after the show today, as soon as I can get it downloaded onto YouTube. So wonderful show, Barry. Thank you so much. I like doing these current events, all the stuff that comes up in the news. Maybe I should just kind of focus my Monday show on that. I think that's a great idea. But Barry,
you're pretty good. You catch stuff I've never even heard of a lot of times.
Yeah.
You hear that other stuff I haven't heard about it. So that's pretty. You're good at it,
dude. Well, thank you. Well, I keep my ear to the streets, and I keep on TikTok over there. So it's the TikTok.
I need to join TikTok, I guess.
Yeah.
On there.
I had not posted a video in like a month until I posted yesterday. So I'm gonna get back active on TikTok here. But it's awesome. I highly recommend it. It's fun. It is a little ADD over there. I'm not gonna lie. And that's why I haven't posted in a while. I'm too busy on these other platforms. I got enough, to deal with. But TikTok is fun, and that's where most of the younger crowd is too. By the way, it's kind of the younger crowd over there.
Right, that's the future.
Like my nephews. Right.
Mm-hmm.
My niece and my nephews are over there. Okay. Well, Barry, tell everybody about your YouTube and your Patreon, where they can find you. It is on the ticker.
My Patreon's under Barry Littleton. I don't know. Maybe I'll go live there more. I'm going to shut that down because it was all about actually being able to make the videos, and it's how I was able to do it. It was through the wonderful people at Patreon. I'm on YouTube under Barry Littleton. Please come check it out. Please subscribe. If you are subscribed, please press that bell again. And if you want to set up a session with me, whether it's hypnosis of different modalities I do of it, or readings, I do those too, you can reach me at barrylittleton13@gmail.com.
barrylittleton13@gmail.com. If I wasn't holding my microphone right now, I would type it in for y'all. barrylittleton13@gmail.com. I do have an audience that's listening in on podcast platforms as well. So you guys, please go subscribe to Barry Littleton over on YouTube, and definitely join his Patreon as well. And man, I want to thank you so much, Barry, for being here today. It's always fun hanging out with you. And
thanks for having me. It's a surprise. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think we covered it pretty well. And so, yeah, y'all check it out. Maureen, thank you so much for putting that link to the video in the chat today. I will put a link down in the description box when I repost the video to YouTube later this afternoon. Okay, and so y'all can see that video, especially those of y'all that aren't on TikTok and stuff. I know, it's like I said, it's a little ADD over there, in my opinion, but it's still a great platform. So it's where we're getting some of our news from over here. But okay, well, you guys please come back and see me on Wednesday. I will be here with Nick Sylvester. I love me some Nick Sylvester, man. He's going to be here with me. We're going to be doing some. We'll be talking about cryptids and what's going on intergalactically and whatever comes up. He's really big on cryptids and is a big part of the truther movement. Okay, so we're going to have a really great discussion. Y'all know he came here to talk about the Dogman breeding program before and cryptids working in conjunction with our military. And he may have a little inside information. So we're gonna be along those lines on Wednesday. Y'all stay tuned and come join me Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And what's
Maureen,
up, Barry?
email me, Maureen. Email me. Sorry, yeah, email me. I'd be happy
to work. She wants to do a session. Yeah, if anybody wants to do a session.
BarryLittleton13@gmail.com.
Yeah, y'all hit up Barry. All right, Barry. Well, I hope you do another live soon. I will be there, Barry. Do another live, man. Those are so great.
Thanks for encouraging me to do that too. You're one of the people really, that did. So thanks.
Well, you're really good at it. You're really good at it. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, everybody, please stay safe out there. Have a great day. I'm sending y'all all my love and light. Shout out to all my moderators. You guys are amazing. Thank you for hopping over to Facebook with us today and keeping the show running with us. And I want to send all my love to all you guys. And Barry, you too. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.